Ireland against Australia then. Let's preview this game now the teams have been announced. And it is really fascinating how this weekend's games have thrown up some fixtures of teams that are either in very similar or very contrasting places as a team. England, New Zealand, for example, both teams that have been in a bit of a rebuild phase. And this is a bit of a barometer test of where they are. Same goes with Wales and Japan, who are also battling for the 12th spot in the world rankings. Ireland feels like a team that potentially could be about to regenerate, but could be on a decline. And Australia have shown significant improvement, but are they going to keep going that way, or are they plateauing or even dipping? That's really the big question going into this match. And it has thrown up some incredible matches down the years. And I think this is going to be a really, really entertaining game. Let me know your thoughts in the chat down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Hit subscribe on the channel. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. And this is Andy Farrell's Ireland team for this particular game. And, yeah, interesting, isn't it? The leak was pretty much on the money. I think this is why some coaches at England, for example, named their team on Tuesday. I think this is part of the reason why coaches do it, because there's so many occasions where the teams get out and they're absolutely bang on. France was the same. And, I guess I understand it because, players, Paddy McCarthy, for example, would be very, very excited. I'm not suggesting he's leaking it, by the way. I'm just saying he would be very excited, and rightly so, that he's getting his very first start for Ireland. There'll be other players that are disappointed, and they will let their family members know, no, I haven't made it this week. And inevitably, teams and whatnot get out. But anyway, the leak was on the money, and there we are. Doris at 7 is one of your headlines, I would say. He's only done that once before for Ireland, worn a number 7 jersey. I was surprised. I looked that up, and he's actually only run out onto the field for Ireland. He's done it more with Leinster, but only once in his Ireland career has he run out with a number 7 on his back. That was against Italy in the Six Nations in 2024. He wore 6 for large chunks of his early career for Ireland, and obviously came off the bench and has played at open side, but just in terms of the jersey that he's run out onto the field with. So that's quite interesting. First start for Paddy McCarthy, as I mentioned. He's had a promising start to his international career. Andrew Porter gets a rare breather. And is there anyone that deserves a little bit of a rest more than Andrew Porter? Because that guy is he's like an 80-minute prop. There's not many of them, and Andrew Porter's practically that. So, here's hoping he doesn't, but wouldn't it be ironic if Paddy McCarthy gets an injury very early in the game and Andrew Porter has to go and put in another proper shift? But I also wonder if there's something else going on here. And this is something that I noticed and commented on regularly with England, go back a year or two, when Steve Borthwick would either start Joe Marler or Dan Cole, and the other one would be on the bench. He did it so often, and it would sometimes be that way around, sometimes be that way around. And he did it so often that I'm absolutely convinced it was done as a way to try and balance the scrummaging prowess within the squad. And I do wonder whether there's a little bit of that going on with Thomas Clarkson and Paddy McCarthy, who are both really promising props and have both done very well this month. I thought Thomas Clarkson was great last week. But I do wonder whether having Andrew Porter on the bench, Tadhg Furlong starting, is a case of just trying to get the best out of the scrummaging unit and all of the props overall, rather than having 2 absolute stalwarts and 2 guys that are green, internationally speaking. That's pretty cool to see. The back 5 of that scrum is massive, meaty, and highly talented as well. And I'm excited to see that. I am waiting for Ryan Baird to have his breakout game. He looks bigger this year. I was calling it before the Ireland-New Zealand game. I thought this is going to be... I was predicting in the media room. I was chatting to some of the other guys there, and I was predicting Ryan Baird was going to be man of the match, or be Ireland's best player. He's so athletically gifted. I'm just waiting for that absolute next level performance. He's shown it in glimpses, but I mean, he wrecked New Zealand's line out. He's got that in his armoury, but come on, Ryan. I'm willing Ryan Baird to have that breakout moment in the number 6 jersey, and Ireland needs someone to really take that shirt. Although I will say, Cian Prendergast is on the bench, Nick Timoney as well. So there's options in the back row, and good to see those guys both involved. The biggest and most interesting selection, particularly given who they're going to be playing against, is the centre pairing of Berg Stuart McCloskey and Robbie Henshaw. With Bundee Aki on the bench, you have got the three main contenders for the Ireland number 12 jersey, all in the same matchday 23-man squad. And I would say in the case of Robbie Henshaw, he is maybe, more than anyone, the one that is the epitome of the Ireland team right now. World class on his day. Hasn't shown top-end performance for a little while. And there's a worry in the back of your mind that you've seen the best already. Now, for the record, I don't actually think that's where Ireland are. I think the attacking game has moved on. And I don't think teams are playing as much possession rugby as Ireland play now. And I think teams are trying to score in transitions much more now. And I think teams are trying to score in fewer phases now, which part of that relies on top-end gas, which Ireland don't have huge amounts of. Tommy O'Brien has sort of changed the picture there. I don't necessarily think we've seen the best of Ireland. I don't necessarily think they're on the way down. And actually, save for a few players, it's actually a reasonably decent age profile for that team. And obviously, Sam Prendergast, Tommy O'Brien helped that in the back line. Mac Hansen in at fullback is the other one as well. And could he be a guy that sparks a little bit of attacking creativity? You see him working really well off his wing, going looking for work, and he's quite often used in a second playmaker kind of a role. You could argue that's easier to do at 15. So we'll wait and see there. Obviously not first choice. And when you look to the guys that are missing, I was at the game at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin last year between these two teams. And I had a great day. It was a really fun match. Ireland had that absolutely stunning centenary or 150th anniversary kit on, which is one of the best kits I've seen in recent years. And maybe that's where it all went downhill. Ireland need to get that kit back and it'll all be all right. But anyway, Hugo Keenan was playing that day. Gary Ringrose, Joe McCarthy, Josh van der Fleer. And the two in the back line, Keenan and Ringrose, you can't really replace them. There is no like for like or anyone at that level who wears green, and they're big. Joe McCarthy, yeah, you can kind of replace him. Josh van der Fleer, they're putting Doris there, which, I mean, he's a very, very good player. But there was Peter Amani, there was Ian Henderson, there was Cian Healy. Those guys, I think, have been replaced. So we'll see. As we move over to Australia, and Lenny Kitau is in. Get your best players on the field, I think, is Joe Schmidt's thinking. He's looking at Ireland, and I think he, obviously it's personal for Joe Schmidt. He had a great time in Ireland. The Irish fans love him. He was the architect of the Irish attack, which was the best in the world, which took them to the world number one spot, which, Andy Farrell continued and gave them so many good memories. But I think Joe Schmidt has moved attacking play on with his Australian team. And they go for all-out gas and moments and turnovers and transitions. And he wants this one. You can tell from the selection. He's just got all his best players on the pitch. Tom Hooper to lock, Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright, Harry Wilson are the back row. Angus Bell and 7A's props starting as well. And there's some class on the bench as well with Frost, Tisano, Pollard, Nongor. And in the back line, Max Jorgensen at 15. What a year that guy's had. Filippo Daugunu, Harry Potter, that is a handy back three. But Lenny Kitau and Joseph Suali'i up against McCloskey and Henshaw. You look at that and you think there's an opportunity there. If James O'Connor and Jake Gordon can get them moving, then Australia could be in business. But that is the big question for Australia. Can the 9 and 10 do that? Can they manage a game? Can they get them in the right part of the pitch? Can they execute when the opportunities are there? And that's been the limitation for Australia, hasn't it? And again, with Ireland, where you wonder, are they at the level they were? Have they dipped? Are they on the way down? Or is this just a regen? Same goes with Australia, but even over a short period of time. They started the Rugby Championship out of the traps with that incredible win at Ellis Park in Johannesburg. They looked so good in the early stage, and they've just been losing energy as the year's gone on. And you think a part of that will inevitably be that they don't have a big player pool, and it's the same players trying to go back to the well again and again and again. And you just look at them and wonder, has it been too long of a year, and are they losing steam? Or can they get themselves together for a good crack in these last couple of games? Will Skelton's not there, of course. Tom Wright, Tate McDermott as well, added energy from the bench. But other than that, it's not a million miles away from the squad that did so well against the British and Irish Lions, that got that win against South Africa in Ellis Park, and that in moments and at times can do some absolutely blockbuster things. In terms of a combined 23-man squad, if you had access to all of those Australians, all of the Irish squad, who would you pick? And that is what I have gone for. And yes, you will notice 5 Wallabies in the pack. And I know I and ahed massively about Caelan Doris. Now, if I was cheating, I would put Caelan Doris in the back row somewhere. But I was being strict with myself, as I am when I do this. 1 versus 1, so Bell over Paddy McCarthy. 2 versus 2, Sheehan over Matt Fessler. 3 versus 3, etc. So it was Doris or Fraser McReight. Doris is one of my favourite rugby players. He's incredible. And I'd pick them both. But if I had to just pick one, number 7, to do number 7 things, Fraser McReight has been in incredible form. So I've gone for him in an all Wallaby back row. The Irish halfbacks, the Australian centres, the Irish wingers, the Aussie fullback. Really, really well balanced. And those individual matchups, those unit matchups, are going to dictate this game. Very similar to what South Africa have done this weekend, what England and New Zealand have done. Ireland have got a very, very strong bench, and I think that might make the difference. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go for an Ireland win by 9 points. Ireland by 9. Ireland 29-20. There we go. 29-20, the win. Very much looking forward to this one. Should be a cracker. I hope the weather's good. Because this time of year, you never know. But if it is, we could be in for an absolute banger of a game. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours, and I'll see you on the next video.